Yes, and we are live again with Twin Flame Abundance Live. In Twin Flame Abundance Live, every week on Saturday on 4 p.m., my time zone, Amsterdam time zone, we start with what is going to grow into a healing twin flame meeting for us all. Every time I'm going to hear more and more of you, how you are doing, what you want to hear about in topics, in questions, what kind of healing situation you are in. Because any situation with your twin flame is a healing situation that you can do something about. That is the awesomeness of this journey, which is the traditional spiritual journey, which means the life journey updated to the level of twin flames. And the awesomeness of this journey is that you are empowered to do everything in it that you want to manifest in it. You are able to do that. You are able to heal that so that it comes about. Awesome. So that's the twin flame healing that we're going to hear more and more about. And you are going to tell me more and more what you want to heal, what situation you are in, so that we can look into what can be done there. What are some ideas that you could do? What are some cards that I could pull for you that help you with a message, for instance, from my own healing deck? That refers to the specifically for twin flames existing energy system. And maybe I have something for you that you can use directly from that twin flame energy system. And this twin flame energy system exists because other energy systems are not really effective on twin flames, because you actually need to go deeper than only energy work. So that was a whole bunch of things all in one. Yeah, and maybe I can just refer you to how to step into the key exercise, which is actually also a twin flame energetic tool as well. And maybe I can give you a step one of this 4-step tool that you need to use to repair everything in your twin flame union. And I can give you an idea how to step into step one, and maybe we can go to step 2, 3, and maybe even 4. I have 2 versions of them. Yes, maybe you can learn more about when you are in your situation, what kind of key 4-step twin flame inner work tool can you do there? All kinds of different approaches to the very same thing, and that is you want to go deeper in the inner work, because that will bring about success in your twin flame journey, which means you will start to manifest the deeper layer of what you truly are, and that is your true abundance, whatever it is. Yes, the true abundance is the true twin flame. Yes, the true abundance is your soul money. It is your tribe, the people that are called in, that belong to you. It is a sense of belonging. It is everything your heart desires. And that is because when you do the true twin flame journey correctly, with an actual guide, with a real tool, with a real alignment, you get to have your true twin flame. And that is the only one that opens the door to your true abundance. The false twin flame doesn't do that. I believe this is my twin flame, but it's actually not, does not do that. So awesome. I was called forward by Divine Mother herself to bring you this. I didn't even want this. It just was something that I was more and more and more and more and more and more and more brought forward for. It sounds like against my will. That sounds pretty bad, actually. I understand. But what I mean is sort of my ego didn't even want this, you know? So, um, Yeah, but here I am. When your ego wants to talk about twin flames on social media, on YouTube, in videos, that can be really cool because you get a lot of beautiful attention and whatnot, but it may just be not real because it may just be an ego that's talking about a topic that essentially it doesn't know anything about because an ego doesn't know anything about that. It is just an opening towards the deeper truth of life that you, as a true twin flame teacher, can pass on. There's nothing else that works. Um, but I personally managed to have a whole host of tools and entrances to do the healing and to I had the possibility in life to design a whole work, a whole school of work that is helpful for you. And I worked a decade on that, on getting all these tools out, manifesting them, testing them, seeing that they did work, that they were one whole, feeling into the whole that they are. And that was only the decade of, you know, manifesting those tools, testing them, and bringing them out. There was a decade before that that I was sinking deeper into what all of this might mean for me. And there was a decade before that that I also was already tasting from the twin flame and preparing as a teenager for all of this to come. So, yeah, lots of work went into this. I also remember a couple of past lives that have influence um, on doing this right now for you. One of them I have talked about recently in another live video that I was. They're actually still quite famous. H.P. Blavatsky, Helena Petrovna. Now, the cool thing is, my name is still Petrovna because my name is Petra, which is sort of the female version of Peter, which is not an uncommon name in Europe and Eastern Europe. And as H.P. Blavatsky, I was born in Russia. Yeah, on the more or less on the Europe side. So yeah, funny. Just when you think about it, like how did that come about? I just had the same name. Hmm. All right, so this was my introduction to the Twin Flame Abundance Live of this Saturday. We'll be repeating this every Saturday for the time to come, as far as I oversee that right now. And the overarching topic of today is going to be what to do when your twin flame does not communicate with you anymore. Right. But first, again, this time we start with a card from the Manifest and Heal card deck. And maybe we are already going in the direction of that topic. I shuffled a bit, asked in my heart, Divine Mother, to help me, and this card was seen by me immediately. So this was the one I chose. Let's look at it to get into the flow, into the alignment together, into the twin flame energy work together, and see what the entrance is that we see today. And it is from the bigger series, like I still can't remember that word correctly. The Great Arcana, that's I think what they call it when you look at a tarot deck, if you are familiar with that. Then you have like one series that is like the huge energies, the big important cards, and this is sort of that in my Manifest and Heal card deck. And it is card 7, Money, which is actually is the same as you could put after that energy. Money is energy. And it has the key. Right. It has a moon in a couple of phases. And this is awesome because we are going to do, Divine Mother already told me this today, At the very end of this broadcast, we are going to do together a um, group healing on this energy point because it is one of the big cards about and money is energy in my card deck, but it also refers to the energy system consisting of 9 points, the twin flame energy system that I call the creative ID method for energy work. And in that energy system, this is also one of the points that is also called number 7. And it greatly coincides with this card of the card deck, and it also has a moon on it. We will later see that because it will be this one that we will be doing at the end of this broadcast a meditation about. That's an energy point. So this seems to be quite coherent today already for the live. And going back to the cards, so 7, money is energy. And we are going to look at the booklet on my screen now to see what it says. Experiencing essential value in creation, and what you create leads to the condensation of this value in exchangeable forms that can be brought into balance with the environment. That was just the preface. The title of the text that belongs to this card is Making Value Land on the Correct Spot. This card deck speaks in a booklet a lot about mission kind of attunement, but actually you can see inside of that the same movements and topics and vibrations and energies that you need in your general twin flame journey. Because, well, mission is very parallel and actually the same as union development. Mission development is parallel and almost the same as union development, but it is in a different angle that you look at it. So when I talk in this booklet about money, that then you can indeed, as this preface already says, look at it as essential value. The value in your union, the value in your soul, right? And in mission, you may call that money. But in union, you might call it value, expressing essential value in creation. Because it is about, because that's real. Value is real. Okay. Your value is real. It is fully connected to the divine. And that is true in the true reality where your twin flame union is already true. That is the value that we mean. And this whole journey is also, besides an invitation to go to union, also an invitation to go to mission and experience the true money life, which is the true energy life, which is based on the same depth of being true as that. The twin flame is not only an idea, but it's actually true. It's an actual human being that comes in your life and acts with you there, as how human beings interact, right? So that's the same actually with energy is money. Different angle to look at things, but same thing. Interesting, right? So it is about essential value. Alrighty. Experiencing essential value in creation, and what you create leads to the condensation of this value in exchangeable forms that can be brought into balance with the environment. Alrighty. So that was still the preface, and here comes the actual description of the card. Making value land on the correct spot. Money is the externalized inner value, and it is a suitable way to bring yourself into balance with your surroundings. Do not bring money in connection with misuse of power. However, you can discern where this illusion is rooted in the world, and this can lead to clarity when it happened already. it leads to clarity. You best see money as an idea that stands for the flow of love on the outer plane and realize that the form of money is only secondarily important. When your manifested form of value with unconditional love is in relationship, then it does not care what form it exactly has. Traditional money, digital money, crypto, seeing that all the money eventually is a form of energy flow is a grand lesson that can come to you in your kind of way when you are ready. You do not need to manipulate energy for that, to make manifest that for yourself. That would only make that you are now taking the role of the manipulator yourself. And that is not necessary. However, it remains one of the biggest kinds of minds inhabiting the big banking world of the West. Manipulation, the manipulative mind. You can heal your money flow by repairing your personal energy field until you are in the state of being of golden flow. And another spiritual movement plays a role as well in your holistic abundance, the way in which the outer form of energy flow, money, is connected and partitioned within your harmonious union with your ultimate co creational partner and lover. Here, an individual characteristic can be, however, simultaneously a general variant to take into account, is that energy or sexual energy is more the divine feminine way of being, and the co creation, the money, is more the divine masculine of the universal abundance system that is built in the architecture of existence. This eventually makes gender politics superfluous because it goes back to the building blocks of reality on the highest level. The way in which your soul and your twin flame counterpart on the soul level will find this topic in your life to be true is the only way in which you will be rightfully clicked in with every detail of your being and still be able to profess to be unionized in money. As divine feminine counterpart, it is natural to share in the money created via the divine masculine counterpart or representation of him in your energy system. And the other way round, it is only natural to let him share in the emotional, sexual energy wisdom. This is the only place where abundance and energy and money fall on the exact place with ease. You are on a journey to your ultimate abundance architecture when you follow the path of golden flow and harmonious union voluntarily. Your architecture comprises of your abundant energy and money situation, a grid work that will become more filled in with every way that the universe finds fitting for you, the more you surrender to the journey. All right, so you see in the text of this card that we have the harmonious union, which is a consciousness state for your union development with your twin flame. And you see that the golden flow is the consciousness state connected to your value of energy is money on the mission part of the journey, and they are always together. They co-create together. Now, if you feel that you vibe with the explanation of the money in your union, that is perfect. I love that for you. Awesome. But if you want to sort of translate this to the question of how do I get into union, and maybe even already looking forward to the bigger question we will be answering today about what to do when your twin flame does not communicate with you anymore, then I would say that this card, which is of our first attunement of the life today that we connect over, is about making come true your inner value in the outside world, is exactly what Twin Flame Union is about. And there is a communication issue with that. That's looking forward to what we will be talking about in a minute. Your value is real. Twin flame union is an enormous value. It's vast, it's overflowing, it's abundant in itself. Once you tap into that, you start to feel it. It's just as simple as that. It makes you happy. And that's how life is supposed to be lived. Happy on a whole different level than only on a material happiness that is fleeting, or only on an ego happiness because you just got an acknowledgement. It is a deeper kind of acknowledgement. It's acknowledgement of the spirit, where you are one with your true twin flame, and you are a source of light that is eternal and real. That's the whole point. That it is real. It's not a pink cloud flying over. It's not something that will be made undone tomorrow or when you die. Not even then. It's real. It is actually like one of the only things that are truly real and sobered up and factual in the entirety of existence itself. That's what twin flames are. And it's awesome that we can now all start to go on a journey and really arrive also in that journey to a place where you can really make that come true. And that is just the biggest gift of the divine that I can pass on. So there you go. Yeah, beautiful. That's what we're doing here. And we will be doing that well together. You can, of course, write your reactions, your questions in the chat. And we will be going through a couple of things today in this order. First, the talk. And that will be about what to do when your twin flame does not communicate with you anymore. And then we go to announcements. And then we go to issues to heal. And you just tell me what is going on in your life so that we can look into that. You have to tell me something because otherwise I can't help you. So telling me what is going on, you can do in the chat. And the last part of this live is going to be the group healing. Yay. That's going to be awesome. I'm very sure. So let's go to the first part. So that's going to be what to do when your twin flame does not communicate with you anymore. Because, oh my God, don't we have that? Like lots of you, that's what I mean. And I know it myself as well. That is a whole thing, that can go on and on and on. Why does my twin flame not communicate with me anymore? And you can be very, having very complex situations there. Maybe they don't want to answer your texts in Messenger or WhatsApp anymore. Maybe they don't want to pick up the phone anymore, but maybe they once did. And who knows what kind of situations all play into that for you. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. Maybe you ask yourself, like, is it their fault that they don't want to talk anymore? Why not? Why can't they just tell me what's going on? Or maybe you question yourself whether it's your fault that they don't anymore. Did you say something wrong? Should you have texted them less or maybe more? Maybe you should have been more forward in what you had to say and elaborate and whatnot. What is going on that this is not working out? Now, this is common because, well, there's an important reason why this is so widely spread. And that is because communication itself is intensely important. It is the thing. It is the high point of creation. In my twin flame energy system, consisting of 9 energy points that reside in your energy body that you live in, and that are also present in the universe, in the world itself, as points of value that resonate, value and meaning and healing that resonate autonomously on itself. In the best order of these energy points, it is the healing order. It's really the source magic order of these energy points, how I would say it. Because there is an order. And when you would put that in this order that I present them in, of course, we'll talk about later what that is and what not, stick with me here, go on a journey with us, you'll learn everything. It's already published in my books, by the way. And if you come for one-on-one private coaching, which I highly, highly recommend, you, of course, also get to know what all of this is. But stick with me and you'll learn all these secret facts about energy work and whatnot. That's going to be so super awesome for you to learn, because it's the new thing that everybody needs to know for twin flame healing. So when you would put these energy points in the healing order, the new order, the strategic order, the source magic order, then you will end the whole 9 energy point system with number 6. And that is going to be here. And it's going to be communication. It's going to be your interface with the world. And now it's just fully healed inside of you and like re-energized and has been standing up in divine truth. And then you are with the world, with your interface, with your connection point with the world, with your communication, with your also behavior, with your talking, with your listening, with your interacting. Yeah. With your texting, with your calling, with your having a conversation, with your non-verbal exchanges, but still within the communication realm between the both of you. And that is the very last energy point there. That is the very high point of the whole order that is going to propel you forward. It's going to be that communication. Communication is the thing. Without communication, there's nothing going on. We don't even talk about twin flames. The whole point of twin flames is communication, because you are already one at the core. So if you already could go to this one and that was all, that's it, or you never went to the world, you just are residing in this oneness, that's it, end of story. There's no communication necessary. There's no fun, there's no dance, there's actually no love to be felt. So yeah, in that sense, you really have been incarnated here in this lifetime, well, because you wanted it and because you came forward to experience this oneness that you are and have in a manifested form, as one of the expressions, the divine masculine or the divine feminine, in your union, to together within that space experience the dance and the love of that dance and the love that is the background of that dance, that will become revealed to you all the more because of the dance. Because there's this dance, you can also become aware of the vast, deep, silent, divine, golden consciousness of what's behind it, what's so one about it, what makes it so deeply one, that you are actually one with them. And yeah, that is what you're here for. What you're here for. But that dance doesn't need to be unharmonious, That's why I bring people to harmonious union, consciousness state, or state of being, because this dance can be harmonious and close together and completely attuned to all the time, remembering this beautiful love that is here, the oneness that is already here at the foundation of what you already are. And that is the enjoyment that you're actually wanting with the true twin flame. You want to feel this true love, and that is absolutely possible. But you need to get some practice into how to get there, right? But it's totally possible for you as well. Communication. That is the whole point of twin flames. That is the whole thing in this dance. And when it does not communicate anymore, yeah, of course, that's like there is no dance. I don't understand. Nothing is harmonious. It's not working. This is not flowing. There's no communication. And that's the same with the energy work and why I even invented this new energy system, because we already have like the chakras and whatnot. Why would you do that? Well, because for instance, I added the earth and the heaven because twin flames are deeply connected into that deeper layer, not only in some chakras or something, not at all. They're connected in making come true the union on earth. They're connected into, directly connected into the divine, which you might say is the heaven. So that's why I invented it like that. And I invented it to have these energy fields placed in a healing order and let them come out in the communication world so that you make it come true. If you only do some energy inner work, well, there's no twin flame going to be manifested from that in your world in an actual working relationship with you. But when you express it into the world and really be it and live it and go live there and communicate in that, that is where it's going to be real. And that's also what you want, right? So it's also the connection between energy work and what you want, really the living together with them, the enjoying the communication, because there is a relationship in this oneness union. That's what you want. So communication is everything. So why is it so that everyone complains about, but the communication with my twin flame is stuck, or I don't understand it, or they walked away from the communication, they don't answer to me anymore? Because that's the whole thing. The communication is the whole thing. That's the whole point of twin flames. That is the relating that is going on inside the union, oneness, spiritual. You anchor into that one, the true divine beingness that is here. Perfect. If you can, there's a road to being able to do that. I can bring you there. And inside that oneness union, anchoring in that deep divine vibration is one thing, but then in the relating as human beings towards each other on a psychological level inside that union, that is of the spiritual whole, the human psychological inside, lower level, quote unquote, layer of that union is the relationship itself. And that's where you want to relate. So communicate is like another word for that, right? And then it's like, yeah, but that doesn't work out. And then you see that you can't get the wholeness to keep your anchor into that vibration intact, and at the same time keep the communication going, the relationship going between the people in that lower level, quote unquote, with the human people. And then it's like, I can't get this to work in the bigger whole. So you have to have the two work with each other, and that's the art of it. And that's just an art that is awesome, because it is the making come true of your deepest desires that you have in your heart, if you will, individually, quote unquote. That is what you want. That's why you came here on earth. That's what you desire when you want to be with your true twin flame, and you already feel that somehow in your heart. That's why you're listening to this video, right? That's the whole point. You want that. Everything that you experience is your experience. Everything takes place in your experiential field. It is actually the communication with yourself. It is actually about the communication with the deepest part of yourself, which is your divine core. It is actually about the communication with the divine in you. And you want to have that connected with the beautiful vibration of the union spiritual whole, and at the same time with the human psychological interaction inside of that, and how to sync that out. That's maybe how you should say it. How to align these in your experience, and your twin flame will then also fall into place there, because that's just law, because they are you at that deeper level. So this is all another way of saying that what we see in key version 2 is, for instance, what I'm going to say now, which is like sort of another way of saying the same, and that is a key version 2 is like the twin flame inner work tool key, right? Version 2. And what that sort of says the same when you look at this question of my twin flame doesn't communicate with me anymore. And that is that what you see in key version 2 is that they always mirror something that is actually in you. And you're going to research what it is in you, because that's where you have power. You don't have power over them or the other people or the twin flame, but you have power over you. So that's where you're going to research this for research purposes, which then changes into healing purposes, right? And then you start to heal that. So what that tells you is that when your twin flame doesn't communicate with you anymore on the psychological human level in trying to connect with each other as human beings, you have actually a miscommunication between yourself and your divine source. That's what that means. There's a miscommunication going on. You have stepped out of the alignment of the placing the anchor in the bigger union hole and the alignment with being a human being inside of that communicates with other human beings. You somehow stepped out of that alignment, and you have to research what that is inside of you, where that miscommunication inside yourself is taking place. And when you found it, you heal it inside yourself. Because everything, the whole world, the dance of the twin flames, the universe, your body, everything takes place inside your experiential field, in your consciousness. That's very foundational of what you are. So there's something going on between you, between you and your source, between you and the deepest point in yourself, which is your source. There's a miscommunication inside of your sense of anchoring into your union vibration and or your sense of being a human being in with a psychology and at a lower level, so to speak, underneath that spiritual truth. Something is going on there. Something does not communicate right there. What is it? When you find that, well, then you're a lot closer to the resolution already. Then you just only need to send love there and genuinely love that place fully to completion. And then it will be healed in your consciousness, in your fundamental look on and experience of reality itself. You have healed your quote unquote watching the TV of life, which includes your body and your experience of your body. It's also the TV of life. When looked upon from the place of consciousness itself. And you have healed your looking on the world. You have healed your sense of relating to the self and the core of self, where the self comes from, the divine. And that changes everything. When you have healed the communication inside of yourself, with the core of yourself, the source of yourself, which is the divine, your entire TV program changes. the TV program in which you meet your twin flame and try to text them on your phone and wait until they text back. You now have repaired the meta coding of your TV program. And when you communicate with yourself inside of yourself on all levels, you will have a different TV program outcome in the TV program that you're watching, which is the entire world, including your body. So maybe now this TV program will be a romance in which when you text them, they will answer because you repaired it inside of yourself. So how do you get to know what kind of things are these? What can be going on inside of you? Well, we can get to know that. What it is inside of you that needs repair. Maybe you just miscommunicate with yourself completely because, well, maybe you have a trauma in your psychological human self inside of the union space. And you just completely miscommunicate who you are to yourself. And that can be very much the thing. For instance, I miscommunicated with myself in that level, like my entire life until I healed it, right? I thought I was, well, you could say in psychological land, you could say I unconsciously thought or something, but it's still the same. But this happens a lot. I unconsciously believed, and that's why my reality is like this. That happens a lot. That happens to everybody. Because that's a little bit like how the brain was formatted in your programming years, child time, your youth, anyway, when you were a child, when you were growing up. And then we can say, yeah, it was put in my unconscious, but that's all psychological. And it can be good to have a context for that. That can be very interesting. So it can be like maybe I unconsciously thought that I was something that I was not. But it doesn't really matter if it's unconscious. Well, it matters because you maybe need to make it conscious for yourself. And it will become conscious when you do the actual twin flame inner work. Because did you know that no matter what it is that we talk about, the solution is always do the twin flame inner work. The key tool, go deeper, let yourself be guided. That's always the answer. So there you go. But that will be like very short Saturday video. So I make it a little bit longer, All right, all right. So that's always the case. It is true. Don't do psychological work. Well, it's not forbidden, it's not against the law. So if you like that, go ahead. But that's not where the solution is. The solution is always do the twin flame inner work, how I teach it. Be guided in it as well. That's always the answer. Because when you do that, you will see, and I guarantee you that your psychology will come out, become conscious, and will start to change. And you will start to realize what was going on with you psychologically. But you don't begin in the psychology and start to dig at it. You start to do the twin flame inner work. And that makes then some stuff clear that was going on in your psychology as a secondary resolution or secondary place that becomes clear to you. And that's just the result of the work. And you can say, good, now I understand it. And maybe sometimes you want to read up a little bit on this topic to get more of an understanding, but that's not where the true work takes place. The true work takes place in doing the twin flame inner work. So maybe, for instance, that's where I was when I look at how it was for me, I miscommunicated with myself completely in the psychology, which I got to know when I started to do and resolve when I started to do the actual twin flame inner work. And I miscommunicated with myself because I thought I was a child that had nothing to say and was not allowed to speak at all, that was not allowed to have a self, not a true self. You only were allowed to have a false self, which is a mask, which is like being the good daughter or something. So that was a huge miscommunication. I thought I was worth absolutely nothing, beyond nothing, because that's how I was treated in my childhood, which then gives that phenomenon like, yeah, maybe it was unconscious for me because that was had been taking place in my childhood. But I did not dig into the psychology to make that work. I was doing the actual twin flame inner work. And that then gave as a result that on a psychological level, things became clear, they became conscious instead of unconscious. And that was already resolved then because I did the twin flame inner work so that it became clear. So this is how I started to relate better with me, to start to communicate with myself, with my actual true self. And many people will have problems that look a little bit like this. So there you go. That's a little bit how that goes. But maybe you start to research in yourself where it is that you are not communicating with yourself and you're like, yeah, I don't communicate with the depth of the divine. That's my problem. I'm not anchoring into my deepest layer. I'm not anchoring into the divine as my core. I'm not taking the divine vibration of life as my baseline of everyday life. And that's why my communication doesn't work. I don't know, could be like another thing that you must conclude in yourself. There could be many things that you can conclude of yourself, but let them be the result of doing the actual twin flame inner work and everything will work out because no matter what it is, you need to love yourself completely there so that it will be healed. So you repair the communication with yourself. It is not only a saying that people say they are you on the deeper level, the true twin flame, that is, not the false twin flame, not someone who I believe is my twin flame, but only the true twin flame is one with you already at the core. That's true because that means that it is your true twin flame. Otherwise, it's not your twin flame. Which is not against the law, but then all of this actually is not valid that we talk about, right? And the whole point of they mirror you so intimately that it is unavoidable. And when you resolve it, it's the biggest gift you can give to yourself in eternity. That's what the twin flame does. And then when it's actually not a twin flame, that's not a talk that is va- valid for you anymore. So also not valuable because it doesn't connect you with your true value, which was the true value in the first card that we had, by the way. The true twin flame connects you with your true value. And that is significantly different enough than, let's say, any other person that actually can also mirror something inside of you. And that you can also research inside of yourself what that is. And you can also start to heal that because everything in your life mirrors. And that is a beautiful given that you can use in your twin flame inner work. Absolutely beautiful. Make use of it. But still, it is quite a different level of outcome or of beingness or of energy or of making come true that we talk about when we talk about the true twin flame and the directness and the intimacy of the mirroring of this communication problem that you have with your source inside of yourself. and how that can be resolved, and the like the almost like the vengeance with and the swiftness with which that can be resolved inside of yourself, because the twin flame, the true twin flame, was mirroring that to you. That's like some sort of incomparable, because the true twin flame really makes it, when you take that seriously and you do the actual healing work on your own volition, the twin flame takes you so deep that you resolve this matter completely forever after. That's the beauty of what happens. So be glad that the twin flame mirrors to you, shows you that you're not communicating with yourself. Take it on board and start to heal yourself in a communication with yourself, and in a communication with the core of yourself, the source of yourself, which is the divine itself. Beautiful. So that's how that works. That is how you resolve what to do when your twin flame does not communicate with you anymore. Right? That's how you resolve that. And this is never, never, never said to say that you are guilty. You did it to yourself. You are wrong. You have sinned. No, that's not what it is about. We're just looking at consciousness level, at what you are and how you can become even more of yourself on the twin flame level. And with that, actually resolve the question that you yourself came to me with. So, no, it is not about that you are guilty or sinning or that you did something wrong. It is just simply the truth of life when you would really sink into the consciousness aspect of it. And you will recognize that for yourself when you do this kind of inner work, actually execute it, and come to the full resolution of your own individual taste uh, of the communication issue that you had inside of yourself. And when it is completely healed, you will come to the resolution that this is indeed how it was. um you were not blaming yourself, you were uncovering that you were never touched by all these communication illnesses in your union, and therefore in yourself. You are still pristine, and you always were, and that is what you will conclude, and that's how you will find that it was also true, that how I guided this for you. So, how do you actually love yourself there? Well, you have to be genuine. So maybe you just have to sit yourself down every day and, well, do the key exercise. We have a Facebook group entirely for this spiritual practice that will help you with this whole topic, with whole question, and doing the actual twin flame inner work. And you can come do it in our Facebook community called Your Abundance. It's called Your Abundance for a reason, because it will bring about everything that is soulfully already yours in your life, and I want that for you. In our Facebook group, you can download documents that will help you, watch videos about it, and once a month be in the workshop about it too, and so much more. You can write your own posts about how it is going for you. So there you go. So maybe you do need to sit here, and of course the link is in the description box below. How could have I have not said that? But there you go. So please, you need to be genuine with yourself. Sit yourself down every day for half an hour for the coming summer, and do a key exercise on your problem of what to do when your twin flame does not communicate with me anymore. But I actually want that. And start the journey from there. Start the healing journey from there, and be genuine, and tune into your heart, questioning yourself whether you are real with yourself. And if this being real with yourself is congruent with your true self and not a fantasy self, and that it could even be invisible for yourself, that you are actually living in a false self that can be very invisible to yourself, which is also the whole point of having a false self, because you have that for the reason that you don't want to know that you have one because something was so painful in how you dealt with your caretakers and parents as a child. That's often what it comes down to, that you have abdicated your true self and you have to find your true self back. And it is quite normal for this sort of scenario to be there. That's why I talk about it. I don't want to make it a whole psychologic psych I don't want to psychologize, because that's actually not what we do here. We do inner work, we do spiritual work, right? But I use psychological terminologies to make points about things that you often see that occur to you, and that can be just helpful to understand what I'm talking about and what the psychological um yeah, like situations are that come together with these spiritual researches in yourself, where they collide. So I believe that it is helpful that I explain it like that to you. So, yes, be genuine with yourself about this. And it would actually be very normal if you would need guidance for it. That's why we're here. That's why I, have time for you to make an appointment with you to help you. That's why I'm here. I chose to have my life in such a way that I can clear my schedule for you to come in with our online one on one calls. And yeah, I will talk more about that in the announcements. And I do think that we are going to go to the announcements, but because I feel ready. And I feel like we talked a lot about what to do when your twin flame does not communicate with you anymore. Hmm. It may sound different than you thought, I would say. Maybe you thought, like, yeah, maybe we're just going to run after the twin flame, or maybe we'll just grab their jacket and, drag them back to my house. Maybe we would just, write more emails or less. Yes, let's influence them by being completely silent, because maybe we can just manipulate them a little bit to write back to me. Yeah, they will miss me one day. But that's not how that works out. That's not how you do it. It is not a game. It is not, besides just a, a beautiful, playful, divine game, you could say. That's a true dance in divine light that you do together. But it's not a game as in manipulation. We're not going to strategize to make them do something like against their will because I want it. That's not really interesting. You do the true healing work, and also do communicate and do actions when you feel called, of course, because the journey is sometimes active and sometimes passive, and it depends on what you feel guided to. When you are connected and anchored correctly into this true divine oneness inside of yourself. So yeah, that's why it sounds like that, but it absolutely makes sense to talk you through this matter, what the communication really is about, and that it is about the communication with yourself, which means the communication with your core, which is the divine itself, and that the solution does lie there because the true twin flame is anchored into that space where you're one in the divine light, and where the communication is already perfect and smooth and healing all the time. It heals you. And no matter what they say, when you are correctly understanding this whole process and what twin flames are, you are grateful for them, even if they don't speak or if they say something that your ego doesn't like. Because you know that via this, whatever it is, you will get into reconnection with true divine love, where communication is complete and total when it is the true twin flame. And you feel grateful for that. Because that is what you're here to do together, to journey together, sort of lovingly parallel walking in a direction of being complete human beings in divine light. Yeah, and that feels really complete here. So that's beautiful. And we are going to move on to the announcements. And the first announcement is we do have a mission workshop. Twin Flame Mission is actually a beautiful support for coming into union. Did you know that? Mission is the part in which you start to exude this vibration that you are in your union, and you start to give it shape. And maybe that is going to eventually, over time, also become your work. And it will come back to you with the energy and thus also money that people give back to you in return for how they feel helped by you. And that is the Twin Flame mission. And already starting to become aware of that when you're on the journey towards harmonious union consciousness state, which is where I guide you towards in general, but becoming aware of what the mission is and the mission vibration for your union. And also prepare you for how you can start to build when you are more ready for it later, is an absolute fantastic secret pillar of twin flame healing work that you can do that is very unknown. But I specialize in that. Ta-da! Twin flame mission is the secret weapon that you can put into place for yourself for success on your twin flame journey. Going to union, going to mission. I talked about it earlier. It's actually sort of parallel, the same but different, but also one. And both are validly asking for attention from you. And you can invest in that for yourself to look at mission next weekend on July 6th and 7th, first weekend of July. And this group workshop will be very intimate with max 4 people online in Zoom. We have 3 hours on day 1, 3 hours on day 2, homework in between. Before you start, I will take you on a one-on-one call to together gauge your before state. And afterwards, I send you off with a very valuable mission package with which you can continue working on your twin flame mission for the coming months and years to come. And you have to buy your ticket to be in. Now, your ticket can be bought until tomorrow, end of the day. Sunday, June 30. The door closes already on the ticket sales. So if you feel like you want to come to the Twin Flame Mission workshop, you are very welcome, but you have to make your decision right now and buy your ticket via the link in the description box below that I will put after this is over. But also, I will put the link right now in the chat because why not? I'm just trying to reach it. There it is. And here is the workshop mission. There it is in the chat. Okay, so you go there, you read the text, you buy your ticket there as well via PayPal. The link to PayPal is in that explanation page. And you get your ticket before Sunday, tomorrow. The day is over and then you're in. And we will schedule our one-on-one call to get you prepared to dive into this Twin Flame Mission Intensive. And I'm very much looking forward to going deeper with you. And yeah, looking forward to what is going to happen for you there, the miracles that will unfold because of your participation. So that was the first announcement. And then we go to another announcement, and that is, you heard it already, we do have a Facebook community. You would be very welcome. The link is in the description box below. And this Facebook community called Your Abundance is the awesome place to be for all kinds of small events, daily checkup, getting feedback on your Twin Flame inner work with the key tool, key resources download, the mini program of 4 events every month in that group, and lots more. So you really have to be there. And also because you can phase yourself from being in that group into one-on-one coaching with me online for a very inexpensive fee. And last but certainly not least, we do also have exclusive for group members the Divine Love Reading, a report of many pages long that I can make for uniquely you, channeling the divine about who your true twin flame is, what they do, if they already know you, etc. All the questions are answered that you really want to have answered on this journey. The most juicy reading I have from directly to be able to be booked from the group. So, yeah, you'd be very welcome in our Facebook group. Awesome. So, and the next announcement is that should you have done that, or you just want to go all in, that means you are always welcome in the Facebook community. Make use of all our small things that you can use for yourself. But I also have a strategy session to take you into your VIP session. This is your big one-on-one session for if you want to really invest in your twin flame development. And you can still also be in the Facebook community. This actually works awesome together. Do all the small things and come in a one-on-one relationship with me in the Facebook group. And then now and again, you give yourself a big session. And these are the VIP sessions of more than 2 hours long. That means the 2 hours long, but there's more because we set it up on the forehand. I give you stuff to work with when you leave, and it's full service, completely geared to you, exactly what you need on the journey. Union development, mission development, even about health. It can have all these topics within the one great big thing, and that is your spiritual journey on the twin flame level. That's what I can help you with. So come to your strategy session if you want to invest in our relationship and work one-on-one with huge result. And how to ask for your strategy session, go to the description box below and click on the link. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And then the last announcement already for this Twin Flame Abundance Live, and that is that this year, the 8/8 summer ritual on August 8th. August is the 8th month, so 8/8. And I believe it's going to be on a Thursday this year. This year's 8/8 summer ritual returns, and you will be able to come with me on, I think we're going to do sort of a nature ritual, and you can come with me in spirit online. And I will start to sell tickets for that so that you can have the soul participation, in this some sort of a high priestess themed summer ritual that will heal you in your twin flame intentions. That's what we're going to do on 8/8 summer ritual, because we've done this many years before, and every year it's a little bit different. But yeah, I decided we're going to do it again. So there you go. So yes, you can take part online. You can buy your ticket to be in, to get the healing working for your twin flame intentions. And I think now at this point, I have not fully planned it yet, but I do think that you can also, if that's for you, come uh, in real life, which would be some sort of the um, same entrance and stuff. How'd you say that? Same entrance fee? Well, anyway, I think that. Yeah, I will publish this later on. I think we're going to make something fun of this too. This year again. I'm looking already forward to it because it's just such a lot of fun, to do these rituals. And I never expected that I was going to do all of this, all these years. That I remember the first 1, 2 years I was just sitting in the garden and feeling that I was going to put like a 10-hour or maybe 24-hour, I'm not sure what I did, lay out a grid on the grass with like crystals. And I was like, why am I doing that? Never expected myself to do that, but it really felt like that, It felt like that was what I was going to do. I was like, oh, this is so cool. It works so well. And eventually I just downloaded the whole school that you're now a part of here. Um, yeah, sort of from the spiritual atmosphere and manifested it into the world. So yeah, and it's now like 9 years at least. I need to look that up. But there you go. It'll return the 8/8 summer ritual. All right, and now we're going to go to the next part. And that is issues to heal. What do you want to heal? What is your twin flame problem? What is your situation that you want to have a suggestion for? Please put it in the chat. Please put it in the comment below. Also, when you watch the recording. Only when I hear what your situation is, what have you experienced recently? What do you want to reach? What's your goal? What do you feel is holding you back? Just write about it. Let me know. And I might be able to point you to a possible solution. We may not be able to fully do it here or what have you, but I can point you to where you can find the solution or give you a start up. And if nobody at this point is going to give me input, we are actually going to again look at the same matter of what to do when your twin flame does not communicate with you anymore. Yeah, because we need to repair the inner communication. And I think personally that for that reason, today we are going to surprisingly, because I don't see any input also in a live chat, which is okay. Next week, new option to come up with your questions, right? I think we are going to sort of squeeze this chapter of issues to heal together with the group healing. So we're going to move on, with other words, to the next chapter. And in that chapter, we are going to resolve the example issue to heal of what to do when your twin flame does not communicate with you anymore. We're going to resolve that with the group healing of this last chapter. And that is going to be the energy point number 7 of the 9-point energy system. This is how it looks in like the dry symbol of it. It is located, um, well, sort of in the skull, but you approach it from behind where the skull starts. So you have your neck and then your skull starts there. And on the inside, you have a close relationship with your um, brain stem. Yeah, which is a very fundamental element. Is where like your unconscious functioning is located. And when you open that space, you can start to receive light there from the divine, and let it into your skull, in your brain, in your system, in your whole body and energy system. And that is going to mean that you will be divinely guided. Where you actually first had like your, what they call your reptilian brain, that takes charge of your unconscious movements of your organs and your sleep and your really like your very basic functioning and stuff, you know. And then when you open that, you can start to let divine guidance in your basic functioning. Wow. And it will influence everything in your brain and therefore in your body, in your energy body, in your life, because now your most basic functioning is connected to the divine light, to divine development. And your everyday simple functioning becomes surrendered to God's unfoldment of your spiritual twin flame journey, so that you will guarantee yourself success. How about that? And that is just the answer to what to do when your twin flame does not communicate with you anymore. Let in the divine guidance. And we're going to do that, this group healing, a little bit of a meditation that we're going to do together on this point, by becoming aware of our body and our energy body, and in a minute also closing your eyes and following my suggestions a little bit for like 10-15 minutes, sitting in a maybe private space, maybe like close the door for a moment, and we can do this group healing together. And we are going to look at a newer version of my visuals of this energy point to inspire us as well. And that is super exciting, because I am making a new visuals for the entire card deck, including these energy point cards. And these are the cards that are a whole card play, the manifest and heal cards, but we also have the energy point cards. And I'm redesigning all of them to make them more beautiful. And this is going to, that is wrong. this is going to be the visual for the card for that energy point 7 at the back of your brain. And did you know that we are actually talking also about the energy point where on the level of your personal energy field, the idea of the divine masculine anchors into your personal energy field. You also have a personal anchoring in point of the divine feminine, which would be energy point 3. But this is going to be energy point 7 for the divine masculine anchoring in point, with the additional note that that does not mean that, oh, you both have masculine and feminine energy, and so nothing's going on. That's it. End of story. No, we're talking about the individual energy level of things, but you're still also in the bigger level, still one of the polarities of the divine feminine or the divine masculine of the bigger whole of your spiritual union level. And whatever we do on the individual energy level, it always needs to also point you back to that bigger whole of the bigger spiritual level, in which you are one of them as the whole that you are, in the union with them being the other part of it, in the whole of what they are. And it has to come out there on that level as well, because otherwise this inner, on an individual level, existing energy work does not make sense on the twin flame journey at all. And that is also why this whole energy system of mine comes out in communication, because that means that your individual level needs to open up to start to communicate with the bigger level of your actual union in the world, in life. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. So, this is going to be our card number 7, of energy field number 7, and the card that shows it all. And we're going to get this visual that is like meant as a healing visual in itself. We take that in mind when we're going to do a small meditation. So join me in the little meditation. Maybe you want to close the door for a moment and just sit down and just take a minute, right? Because whenever you sit down with the intention of really to feel yourself, what's going on, not to judge yourself, just feel what's going on and have the attention for what's going on. This opens you deeper and you go closer to the feeling of value that we also talked about more in the beginning of this entire life. Because the value can then be sensed in yourself. So let's close our eyes and feel how we're sitting. Feel the concreteness of how you're sitting on your chair or on the ground or wherever. Feel how your legs and your feet are touching the floor or the support or the chair. And feel how your bum is sitting. Feel how your weight is pressing down. And feel how your spine is stretching up. And feel if you need support and give that to yourself by leaning against the wall, for instance, or what have you. Or if you feel like it, sit straight up and position your spine in such a way that you feel supported while sitting. So you may want to test that out for a second. And then you feel that your head is balancing on top of the spine too. And give that also a position in which it feels flowing and supported. So you may want to mildly move your head, very mildly, just to give it the best position. And feel your shoulders, and feel your arms, feel your hands, no matter where they are. And let's feel the breath. The breath is such a beautiful space. No matter where the breath is or however it feels, just become aware of it. And that is such a beautiful space to become aware of, the space of the breath. And breathe a little deeper, perhaps, to make it more clear to you where the breath is. But mostly leave it alone and just for a moment feel the breath. And what kind of space does the breath indicate to you? Isn't the breath an entrance to an even subtler sitting here, an even subtler being here, an even subtler space? And allow yourself to sink into that space and trust it. And when you're sitting there and trusting it, while still feeling the breath moving you, becoming aware of the breath ongoingly moving you, we're going to go to that place at the backside of your skull with our attention, while still feeling the breath. But bring your attention and your warmth and your friendship and your acknowledgement and your feeling now to the place of the backside of your skull, where the neck goes into the skull. And feel how that place feels. Is it warm there? Is it cold? Does it feel sharp or does it feel round? And become aware of it. Not to judge it, but just to become aware. And how does that place relate to the rest of your brain? Is there a friendship between that place and the brain more higher up and in front? Or are they not friends? Maybe even enemies. Just become aware. While still breathing and feeling that you breathe. And still feeling that you're sitting here. Just for a moment with your eyes closed, very concrete in your body with your feet on the ground. And breathing. And when you become more aware of that place in your brain, and if it's friends or foes with the rest of your brain, you have created so much more space for energy point number 7 in your head, in your receptive energy in and around your head. And then feel that the reptilian brain in energy point number 7 starts to bathe in a beautiful ocean of healing salt water that is now in and around this reptilian brain. And let this brain sink into it, let it dip into it to be refreshed and purified by this ocean of salt water that is underneath your reptilian brain. This place in your brain that has you so much patterned into all kinds of behaviors that it's hard to change your communication. But when you, in your energy truth, now let it sink into the cleansing power of this healing salty ocean, these patterns start to open up for divine change into a working communication. So let it soak for a moment and rest assured that this ocean of the divine knows what needs to be cleansed and what not. And trust that it's happening now. While you keep on feeling your breath and keep on being present with your feet on the ground. All these very rusty patterns of behavior and reaction in this part of your brain become loosened up because of this divine ocean, salty water. And slowly you withdraw your brain out of the dipping into this ocean because it's been soaked enough for now. And then you become aware that there is further back than the back of your skull, coming out of the distance, shining on your head, the back of your head, a source of light, a very powerful light source from the divine. And it starts to shine more and more focused and precise on the backside of your skull with a healing divine golden light with pink speckles in it. And it starts to move closer so that it can really shine on your reptilian brain for a moment and shine a new kind of divine light directly inside of it. And you just let that happen for a moment. It's being some sort of radiated by the divine itself, so that a divine order can be established inside of that reptilian brain. And while that is shining upon it and you receive it and you trust, you feel your face at the front of your skull. You feel your eye sockets, you feel your brows, you feel your nose, you feel your ears, you feel your lips and your mouth and your teeth and your tongue. You feel your chin and you relax all of that face into the divine light that now also starts to, from within, reach this side of your head. So that from that divine guidance of the golden light with pink speckles, your whole face, and moving down also to the height of your breast, your heart, that whole area of communication forward is also being shone upon by this light from the inside out, from the backside, from the place where you receive the divine guidance in the energy point 7 in your reptilian brain. And you let it shine through you to the front to feel the influence of it in your face, in your mouth, in your ears, in your eyes, in your nose, in your heart, in your chest. And a deep relaxation of that place in front is taking place. That is the healing that you asked for as well. And you feel your breath. You become aware of it. No need to judge the breath, but just be aware of it so that you're still here. We don't need to withdraw into these places that we're talking about. You just need to become aware of this change, of this influence. But you're not going to float up from the earth. So you're still breathing and you feel that. And you're still sitting and having weight, and you still feel your feet on the ground. And then slowly you feel that the divine golden light with the pink speckles shining right through your entire skull to the front where your communication comes out. So it starts to diminish a bit and slowly and gently withdraw because it did its work for now. And the light slowly, gently withdraws from your space into the divine distance where it is always present with its healing power and can come forward again whenever you need it. But for now, it just withdraws a bit again, leaving you with the new feeling in this area of your being. And breathe a little deeper and feel where the breath goes. To just let it in and accept the healing that it did. And say yes in your heart to all the other changes that may want to happen as a result of this healing. And to acknowledge the yes in your heart, you may want to bring your hands up in front of your heart with the fingers pointing up, the fingers going towards each other, and the hands going towards each other gently, softly, until the hands touch each other in a gesture of union coming together in front of your chest as a gesture of thanking yourself. And you may want to touch with your thumbs your chest. And if you want to, you can bring the head down in the direction of the tops of your fingers, slightly, gently, just a little bit, as a token of gratitude for yourself and a sign of saying yes to this change in all directions in your life, in your being. And when you do this to completion, if you feel that, then go all the way towards with your lips touching the tops of your fingers, gently, softly, because that's where they are located. And then slowly, slowly, slowly bringing the head back up again until it's firmly on its neck again and shoulders. And you want to again feel the yes in your heart that you empower by this gesture that you make with your hands of oneness. And open the hands gently and letting the hands flow back to where they were, resting on your legs, still feeling the yes in your chest, in your heart. Yes, I want to have the changes of this influence. Thank you, Divine Mother, for helping us out with Energy Point 7. Take a deeper breath and then slowly, gently, gently come back to the video call that we were doing. Come back to our communication together by slowly and gently opening your eyes. And taking a deep breath. Yeah, beautiful. So that was our small meditation together. And you can choose in your heart also to keep this going, this influence that you felt after we close off the healing call today. You accept it into such a degree that it just keeps on doing its work. And you go back to the rest of your day while this keeps on influencing you. And you can choose that just in softness and in saying yes and in being organic about it. Don't force anything on yourself. Just breathe it in and say yes. Yeah, lovely. So I will show you again the visuals of this energy point, because why not? With butterflies and bats and Saturn, which is also the deeper, more primordial um, source of light and energy for the world. Did you know that? I do have an article about that. I will publish it underneath when I close the call off in a minute. With the beautiful purple or like pink speckled kind of thing. That's, I guess, where it came from. Very interesting. Well, I hope that helped for you to start to loosen you up for a new kind of communication with yourself, with your source. That will be the source for anything that happens in the world with your true twin flame. I hope this helped. And remember that we will meet again in this healing call that is live every Saturday next week again. So put it in your schedule because you know that we can meet again right then and there. Give me your reaction in the comment below. If you don't know what to say, but you still want to be part of this, I would like to see you, let's do this, what it's called. Let's leave an emoticon of the lightning. Yeah, I think you must have an emoticon of the lightning strike. Put that in a comment below so that I know that you listened and you are wanting to be a part of all of this. Leave the lightning strike emoticon or type lightning strike. That's also awesome. And I will see you next week. And of course, in new videos. Don't forget that if you want to go to the mission workshop, this is now the time to buy your ticket so that you're in. And yeah, I think that was it for today. I hope this helped. Much love from Petra.